Hello, my name is Tony Walker, and what we're going to do today is take a look at Logos Bible software, and I want to show you some ways that it has helped me in my Christian life and ministry. I want to look at it from four different angles. Number one, as a pastor. Number two, as an academic student. Number three, just as a Christian. And then number four, as a technologist or someone who loves technology as a hobby. Speaking of technology, the quote is attributed to Steve Jobs, where he said that a computer would be like a bicycle for the mind. You still have to put in the effort, you still go down the same path, but the path that you take, you get there a whole lot more efficiently. And I believe that's a good way to look at it. If a computer is, as Jobs said, a bicycle for the mind, you could think of Logos Bible software as a research assistant for your Bible study. It's not going to read for you. It's not going to pray for you. It's not going to write the sermons for you. But what it is going to do is some of that grunt work that'll help you spend more of your time focusing on the text in the pages instead of flipping the pages themselves. So first of all, as a pastor, how can Logos Bible software help you? Well, one way that Logos Bible software as a pastor has helped me is, for example, I'm doing some reading in a book. For example, we have Mike Heiser's new expanded edition of Unseen Realm that came out a few months ago. And I don't know about you, but I come to a page that looks like this, and it's got 3 columns of Bible references. Now, what you may do is look up every one of those references before you go from page 16 to 17. But realistically, as a pastor, you don't have that kind of time. And so what you do is you skim over them, you kind of get an idea what he's doing and what he's trying to pull from these passages. But you know what you don't do? You don't actually look up the verses. Now, as great as our paper books are, what are some of the advantages of having a Logos Bible software program on your computer and the books that go along with it? Well, let's say that we have purchased the electronic version of a book, and we come up to this page, same page that I have in the paper book, even follows the same page numbering. And I'm on page 16, and I have these references. Now, we're accustomed to when we see a blue font that it means it's some kind of link. And we'll go over and click on it. And so I go to click on it, and one of the time-saving features is I don't have to click on the verse to see it. All I have to do is hover over it, and it's going to show the verse to me. And I can go down through here, and I can look up these verses. And you say, well, okay, Tony, that's a great time-saving feature. But one of the tools in Logos Bible software is what we would call the power lookup. So I open it, and what it does is brings up a window over here on the right that is going to look at what's on the left side of the page. And my bicycle for the mind, my research assistant for Bible study, is going to take all the active references that it can find on the left side of the page, and it's going to pull them up here on the right. So you may say, well, Tony, that's kind of overwhelming. I went from not looking at any of these references to now I just see all of them. I wish I could narrow it down a little bit. One of the things that I find helpful with the power lookup, especially when I'm reading references and footnotes and things like that, is if I do want to focus just on a smaller portion, what I can do is highlight it. Let's say I just want to see about the Pentateuch. And so I'll go to Genesis to Deuteronomy, and it'll bring up, okay, so that narrows it down a little bit, and then I can move to the historical books of the Old Testament, even go down here to the New Testament. And so whatever I highlight is going to filter the power lookup just to do a lookup on that reference. So that is one kind of little simple, I say simple, that is one powerful feature of Logos Bible software that I use constantly. Another thing that is helpful that I don't use quite as much as the power lookup, but it is super helpful when I do need it, is what we would call the print library. Any book on my physical shelves here in my office, many of them I don't have in Logos Bible software. A lot of them I do, but many of them I don't. And you may say, well, some of these books can be kind of costly if I've already bought the hardcover, the paperback, and maybe I don't quite yet want to splurge on the electronic book. So what can I do in that situation? Well, I can add them to my print library. So what that means is this, and I'm not going to show you all that right now, but once I've got them in my print library, which is just as simple as a click of the mouse or a scan of the barcode on the back there, is I can say, okay, I was reading something recently. I don't even remember what book it was in. I remember the author, but I don't remember what volume, and I sure don't remember what page. But last night in our youth ministry, I was standing around with some people talking, And I was trying to pull back in my mind this quote so I could share it with them. Well, sometimes in a flash. That's the only thing I remember from this quote that I read last month. But I want to find it so I can share it with these two guys and send it to them in a text. And there it is, the very first reference that comes up. It doesn't just kind of remind me, hey, go look here. It tells me the title of the book. It tells me the page number. And though I can't read every word from the electronic book, if I haven't purchased it, what it does do is it takes advantage of the fact that it is in Logos available, and it'll show me the paragraph that it comes from. So I open up, I go get the book off my shelf, I open it up, and yeah, there it is. There's what I was looking for there on page 185. And even, oh yeah, so there it is. There's where I highlighted it as I read it a few weeks ago, and I can take a picture of it or send a screenshot from there. So the ministry can be busy, but the Power Lookup and the print library are just two out of dozens, if not hundreds of ways that Logos Bible software can help you as a pastor. Now, another way that Logos Bible software has helped me personally is when I was an academic student. I graduated from our local college here, Anderson University, with my MDiv last summer, and there's a whole lot of paper writing. And I'm 42 years old now, and I've been out of school for a long, long time when you go back to high school and college. And so one of the things that is really cool with this software is I mentioned in the introduction about some of that grunt work. You write your paper, and for me, some students hate it. I love writing academic papers because I kind of, as much as the professors would let me, I tried to look at them from a devotional perspective. And even if they didn't sound devotional, my papers usually touched my heart as I worked on them. But then you get to the bibliography and the citations, and those maybe don't have quite the devotional effect. Well, with Logos Bible software, it doesn't have to be that bad. So I'm doing a paper, and there the homeboy on the wall, Jonathan Edwards. And let's say that I'm working on a paper for my pastoral counseling class called How Did Jonathan Edwards Counsel People in Bereavement? That's my question I want to look up. And so, okay, how did Jonathan Edwards help people who were dealing with bereavement? He probably touched on that in his sermons when his daughter Jerusha died. That would be one example, obviously. But did he ever speak to people personally in private? Well, as a matter of fact, he did. So where would I look for that? Well, I would go to volume 16 of the works of Jonathan Edwards, and I would look at his letters and his personal writings. And I have that book here on my top shelf here in front of me. But rather than go through volume 16 and try to look by hand, which is the biggest volume in the works of Jonathan Edwards. If I was to look at all 700-800 pages, that would take a long, long time. So I can open up the digital version here, and I can search through grief, bereavement, death, words connected to it. And I'm searching, and I come across something that I want to find, that I want to use in one of my papers. And so I've got this highlight here, and so I'll copy it, and I want to use it for my paper. And so I add it to my research notes. Now, in the old days, when I was in high school or college the first time, what I would do is I would have to look this stuff up, and I would have to make sure that I cite it properly so I'm not plagiarizing anything. But with Logos Bible software, it's going to do that grunt work for me. So I paste it there. And as you can see, yes, I've got my quote, but even up under that, it even copies the footnote for me. It's got the author, it's got the title of the book, it's got the publisher info, the year, even the page numbers. But let's say that, I come back to my paper a few days later and I can still get to it. But as you'll see, not only is it just a plain footnote, but as you can probably tell from the screen, it looks like I can click on it. Now, what you would expect is you're going to click on it and it's going to take you back to the book. But what it also is going to do is take me back to that very place in the book that I got it. And you may say, well, Tony, that's because that's where you had the book open to start with. Well, let's go down here or go up here. Close it, go back to it, copy it, or click on what I copied and pasted. And look, it's going to take me right back to the location where I got the quote from. So that feature alone, I told a young man from our church who is going to the same school now, said if you don't use Logos Bible software for anything else, Buy all the books that you can for school in Logos Bible software so that when you copy and paste into your research papers, you don't have to worry about footnotes. Well, after you get your paper written, you've got to work on the bibliography. And, the paper's due at 11:59 p.m. It's 11 o'clock, and you're thinking, okay, now I got to go back through these 15, 18, 25 books and get this bibliography together. And instead of going back through your paper books and you're looking here on the first page and what year was it and all the tiny numbers on that page are blurring together, because you've been doing your research in Logos Bible software, I've got all my books open. I've got, let's say I've got Mr. Crisp here. I've got, what else do I have? Maybe pulled in Piper's book on the dissertations. And not going to open up 15 or 20 books, but just give you an example. So I've got 3 books open here, and I need to make my bibliography. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Documents. I'm going to create a new bibliography, and I'm looking at a blank document. And you say, okay, Tony, so you're there in the app, and it's just helping you stay closer to the content so you don't have to switch between apps. Well, no, it's actually going to do more than that. Add all open books, sorted alphabetically, and my bibliography is done. Now, imagine if you had to, let's say you've got a paper where you've got to have 25 or more sources, and you've got, 3 or 4 pages of bibliography. Instead of doing that by hand, you've already got your books open. We won't do it here, but maybe you've saved them into the collection feature of Logos Bible software where you can open them all at once, no matter whether you've closed them previously or not. You just go in here and you click Add. And for this one, I used all open books, and I've got my bibliography made. So as a pastor, the Power Lookup and the Print Library are some time-saving features that my research assistant does for me. As an academic student, the fact that it can do the footnotes for me and the bibliography for me, that is helping with some of the grunt work. But you say, well, Tony, I'm not an academic scholar, or I'm not a scholar, but I'm not an academic. I'm not writing papers. I'm not a pastor. I'm not writing sermons. I'm not even a Sunday school teacher, and I'm not preparing lessons. I go over here to Study Assistant, and I come to something like this. I've got a question on my mind, and I don't want to go to Google to get an answer. I don't want to use the generic AIs that have been scraping the internet to get all their information. Can I have a trustworthy AI? Well, you probably trust Logos Bible software, and you can use AI to ask questions, chat with it, using the books that only Logos trusts to sell in their store. You may say, well, Logos might have some books on this or this on that. I just want to look at the books that I personally trust, that I have put my money in. Well, if you look at it that way, that's the way you view it. You can even go just from looking at all the books Logos has to just the books that you have purchased and added to Logos Bible software. And I could ask a question that has been on my mind. This jump starter question here on the bottom is a good one to start with. How does the heart relate to sin in theology? As a search in that, there's a young man in our youth group I asked to compare Genesis 3, Isaiah 14, and Ezekiel 28 recently. And I was really pleased with one of the observations he made. He was talking about pride. And this teenager made the comment that we fall in our morals before we fall with our body. We sin with our heart before we sin with our outward life. And I said, man, if everybody in the world could learn one truth from your Bible study you did, it would be that one. So I want to look at how does the heart relate to sin in theology. And I'm not typing this in on Google. I'm looking in my Logos Study Assistant at just the books that I have in my library. And it's not going to come up with a real cool sounding AI answer that is sort of amazing, even if it's right or it's wrong, but it's going to include where it got the information from. So I've got my footnotes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes down here and shows me where it actually gets the information. So for example, number 5, the heart possesses a unique capacity for sin. While no other part of the human person can sin without it, the heart itself can commit sin through intention alone, even when external action never materializes. Wow, that's pretty powerful. Where did it get it from? I can click on number 5, and it shows me exactly where the information comes from. So as a pastor, Logos Bible software can help you. As an academic student, Logos Bible software can help you. But as a Christian, not writing sermons, not writing papers, it can help you in your study of God's Word. Finally, as a technologist, how does Logos Bible software help? Well, it's constantly uncovering things that I would not have even thought about to look at. So I mentioned teaching Sunday school. That is one of the joys in my ministry. It's one of my favorite things, the adult Sunday school class that I teach here at my church. And we're doing a series now on the 10 Commandments, but how can we apply this passage to our life? And I was thinking of Matthew chapter 6, where Jesus said that no man can have two masters. He'll serve one or hate the other, despise the one or the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not the smartest crayon in the box, and we all always use this word in the Bible Belt. Can't serve God and mammon, but what does that word actually mean? And you may be in a context where you use a more traditional translation. And so I look it up in BDAG, and it gives me some information over here, and then I might go down to the down here, the abridged TDNT and Kittle, and what does it have to say? But something caught my eye as I was looking up this word. There was a dictionary down here that I wasn't expecting the word mammon to show up in, and in the dictionary of deities and demons. That's interesting. Why would it have an entry on mammon? And so I'm looking, and wow, okay, it gives me some background information on the word. And down here is a note that I highlighted in some later Christian sources. Mammonos is depicted as a demon, wealth being personified apparently on the basis of the fact that Luke 16:13 opposes Mammonos to God and calls both God and mammon lords. And so, so is mammon a demon? Well, I don't want to quite go that far in my 30-minute Sunday school lesson with the adults there. But as I'm working on my lesson, it can help me. Okay, so materialism is not just a bad habit or something that trips me up every now and then. It is a spiritual reality. It is something I need to make sure I stay away from. And so, though I did have Greek and Hebrew in seminary, my skills may not be as polished as they should be. So I can go down here and I can do a word study, and sometimes we know enough just to get ourselves in trouble. But I can go down here and I'll say, okay, so it only shows up 4 times in the New Testament. So if choice implies meaning, as my Greek professor, Dr. Chrysler, taught us, if that's true, then what I'm left with is, okay, out of all the words that could have been used, Jesus chose that one. Now, while in this Sunday school lesson, I may not jump from point A to point Z just like that. What it can do is help me as I make an application. Okay, so I need to really drive home the fact that you cannot serve God and material possessions. It's not God here and material possessions here. It is material possessions and everything else in our life, and God surrounds it all. So God's not first among many. God is, as the guy who taught in our class on the second commandment, God's not first among many. He is the everything. And so that is something that is simple as a double click in Logos Bible software. It uncovers rabbit trails and things that pass to get you down studying that, just a physical print library. It's hard to double click on a book, right? The power of the technology that can do that. Okay, so you say, Tony, all right, what's the sales pitch? Well, I'll confess to you, I don't have a sales pitch for you. I was provided with the 2026 Silver Library in exchange for a unbiased review. Wasn't pressured to say anything one way or another, but I could say this. I can't give you a review on Logos Bible software that is completely balanced. If I could say anything, I would heap all the praise I can on Logos Bible software and how this technology is just so rich and helps your common ordinary person do things that before you could only dream of. The power to use you say, well, Tony, I wish we had a Christian AI. We do in Logos Bible software. Just limit it to your Logos books or any books that Logos has, and you already have your Christian AI chatbot. You say, well, Tony, I wish I had a way where I could buy these books and I could use them in my academic studies. You can. Not only would they help you in your research, even the grunt work at the end with the footnotes and the citations and the bibliographies, it can help you with things like that. You say, well, Tony, I've got all these print books and I don't want to discard them just to use electronic versions. You don't have to discard books. You can take the physical books that you have, scan the barcodes, put them in your print library, and you can search them just like that. And then it'll even tell you the page number so that when you go get it off your shelf, you know where to turn to. So you say, well, Tony, everything's got to have a cost, right? Well, let me just give you an example, and I'll show it, then I'll reveal to you the price. If you were to take just one resource, or this 12-volume resource that is in, for example, what I have, the 2026 Silver Library, you've got the Expository Commentary series from Crossway. I have that sitting to my right over here. See the picture? I've got that, and I purchased that as they came out. And I haven't added it up because I didn't purchase the full set. I got them as they've come out over the years. But if I were to buy just that set right now at Amazon, you are looking at $471.89 to buy that set. And that is even discounted off the price of $550. And if I were to buy the hardcover books, I wouldn't be able to search them. I wouldn't be able to click on them. I wouldn't be able to use the power lookup if I come across a page that has 15 or 5 or 25 references on it. I've got the physical books with, to use the word limitations, with whatever limitations that involves. But if I were to buy that in Logos Bible software, you're looking at a regular price of $450. So you say, well, Tony, how much is the package that you received if it comes with not just that, but it comes with these literally hundreds of other books that goes with it? That would give a total price of $279 that I can get this Silver Library for. And it comes with not just that 12-volume set, but all of these that go with it. And because they're running a special right now until February the 10th, I can save even more. So add to my cart, go to the coupon code, put in save more, and what can I get it for? $237. So you may say, well, Tony, I'm not really interested in doing that right now. I just want to try out the software. You can do that right now. You can download the app. You can go to app.logos.com and use their web app version, which kind of mimics the desktop software. And you can use what is already worth a wealth of information: the Faith Life Study Bible, the Lexham Bible Dictionary. And those two resources alone would be, great if all Christians could use those. But let's say that you've used that for a little while and you want to begin to invest in your research assistant for your Bible study. And somebody recommends to you this set actually showed up on Tim Challies' blog recently. I think he heaped praise on it and said the best commentary set you could buy right now. And let's say that you just had to have that physical set on your shelf right here. And you splurged and you spent $470 something at Amazon to get that set. Well, let's say that you cut that price in half and you bought it from Logos for $237. And not only did you get just that set, but you also got literally hundreds of other books to go with it that power your software. I think that you can get the picture that I'm trying to paint. Logos Bible software is an investment, but it is an investment that heaps dividends upon dividends upon dividends. And as I said a moment ago, I've been using the software since fall of 2014, and there's probably not a day that goes by that I use the software that I'm not constantly being amazed at what this research assistant for my Bible study can do. So as a pastor, Logos Bible software can help you with features such as the print library and the power lookup. As an academic student, Logos Bible software is going to help you, if in nothing else, than just the simple fact that it does the citations for you and can create your bibliography for you. But as a Christian, knowing that when you want to search for an answer to a question, you don't have to turn to a Google or any other search engines or chatbots can do it. You can limit it to the Logos new study assistant feature. So that is my unbiased review. Although I would tell you, if there's any way possible, try it out at app.logos.com. And then whatever you can do to invest in your Bible study, Logos Bible software, I have found personally, as a lover of technology, as a hobby, and as part of my life, you can find no other place, in my opinion, that can help your Bible study when it comes to technology and electronically than from Logos Bible Software. I don't work for the company, so I can't speak officially on their behalf, but if I can help you or answer any questions for you, I would love to do so. Comment on this video, or you can get in touch with me at my website or email tony@preachertony.com.